So most of my ideas start on blank pieces of paper, and this one came about maybe May, and it's now September, and while I've wanted to bring this to life over the last few months, now finally feels like the right time for Body, an exhibition and party by me, Jordan Nixon. Back in May, I had nothing but space and opportunity to think and dream, coming off of Now We're a Problem, where the theme was re-embodiment. So getting back into body, reconnecting with self and all of its parts. And I was inspired, but I really didn't have any direction or something to pursue. So we created one. Caitlin and I decided to do Tinder, another shoot, but with a different take. We both wanted to get out of our comfort zones, and we came up with a concept that did exactly that. At least a couple days had passed between conception and execution, and in hindsight, this idea needed time to simmer. We both needed to be in the right headspace with the right energy to make this, to really give this what we had, and it gave us everything we wanted, and a hell of a lot more, actually. So over the course of the shoot, I struggled for two main reasons. One, this didn't have a plan. We were just vibing and going with nothing but desire. And sometimes without that direction, I feel unprepared and I'm questioning whether I'm doing what needs to be done. Like I'm giving what needs to be given. And then two, this, unlike the other shoots that I'd been doing, I guess for the last year, it wasn't tied to a grander narrative at the time. There was no idea of Body as an event or doing this shoot to feed into some larger system, theme, exhibition, nothing like that. And so I really didn't let any of that go until later in the shoot. And thank goodness I did, because had I been so hung up on creating what I thought was serious or shareable work, I would have missed the magic. I would have missed the beauty of all that this was and became. And we'd be having a different conversation right now. So the next morning, I had the idea to put together an event called Body. And I had this idea of like these show lights, or Body being written in these show lights and kind of like flashy in this room with white walls or whatever. I don't know where it came from, but I told Caitlin about it and we went on one of our spirals and we both asked and answered, what does it look like, feel like, smell like, sound like, taste like to celebrate Body? And that brought me to this moment. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been building out Body, and over the holiday weekend, I started putting the visuals, the things that had been in my head for the last however many months onto the paper. I started experimenting with posters, with the images from the shoot. I doubled down on the reds and oranges, but I also wanted to push some other things like the form of the letters. I knew I wanted the slim, edgy font, so I gave that look and loved it. I also added Dreamer Blue for a bit of contrast, and I loved that even more. It's also worth mentioning that in this design journey that I'm on, I have no idea if any of it is good. It is wildly intuitive, even though I'm learning particular skills to coincide with that intuition. But if it feels good, then it's gonna have to work, and we'll go from there. In my brainstorming, I created a playlist called Body. I think this was around May. And I had this idea of it being like hot, heavy, very intimate, like adults only kind of thing. I started searching words like, or phrases like Black joy. And I started to see parallels between Black joy and Black resistance. And that allowed me to start connecting dots about what it really means to celebrate Body in all of the different ways that I'm looking to do it. And I think it really pushed me beyond my initial scope, and it's become incredibly expansive. And while that is incredible, it's also incredibly scary. While I love a mood board, this is the first step in an extensive planning process. First, this exhibition, this house party means that we need to make the photos, select them, print them. I need to find a venue. I need to purchase decor. And I'm not even talking about day of considerations. I'm trying to be as organized as possible with this, but anything can happen. I'm trying to get food together. I'm sourcing a DJ. I'm designing and sharing invitations. I'm making social media stuff. So thinking about the lead up, the build up to this party in these next few weeks. I'm designing and printing booklets. So that's a process in and of itself. And lastly, but certainly not least, I'm looking to establish a partnership with an organization or organizations. And honestly, I wanted to do this very thing in previous galleries, and despite my efforts, it never truly came to pass. But I really, truly, in my heart of hearts, believe this is the time. If you've listened to this point, I want to take a second to say thank you for your support. Anybody who's interested in listening to me talk is okay with me. But I will end with this. I don't know how I'm going to pull any of this off. But I also feel like I have to do this. This idea has been in my head for months. I've thought about it up, down, through, and sideways. I've turned it around. I've done all these things, and I have no interest in looking back at this time and wondering, what if? And I believe, what's a dream if you're not willing to take steps toward it? Here's to the dreamers.